Hello, BBN. Now, there's a new prediction for Tyron Stokes at Kentucky. Will he be a key player for the Wildcats? Let's see, but first, subscribe to the channel. Five-star forward Tyron Stokes, ranked number 1 overall in the 2026 class by Rivals, has Kentucky among his final destinations. And according to analyst Jamie Shaw, the Wildcats now emerge as a top contender to land him. Shaw gave Mark Pope's program a 40% chance of securing Stokes' signature, a percentage that, for those who follow recruiting, sounds like a clear sign that something is moving in the right direction in Lexington. Stokes, a player who combines strength, technique, and unusual maturity for his age, has already narrowed his list of 5 programs: Kentucky, Louisville, Oregon, Kansas, and USC. The thing is, he's already made official visits to all of them, and even without giving many interviews, sources close to the process point to a pattern. The name Kentucky comes up frequently and enthusiastically in conversations among analysts and recruiting insiders. The outlook is promising. Shaw says Oregon represents the most real threat, but it's important to note that Kansas, Louisville, and USC appear to have lost steam. This is a reading that coincides with what other evaluation platforms also suggest. On 247 Sports, Kentucky appears with a 6 out of 10 confidence rating to secure a commitment, reinforcing that Mark Pope and his staff are truly in the running. Stokes' decision has yet to be set, keeping the college basketball world in suspense. But it's clear the feeling right now is that Pope is about to pull off a major coup, perhaps the biggest of his short but increasingly solid run at the helm of the Wildcats. A deal with the nation's number 1 player would be more than a recruiting triumph. It would be a statement. It would be proof that Mark Pope not only understands Kentucky's DNA, but also knows how to translate it to a new era. The last time Kentucky had a similarly high-profile recruit was in 2012, when Nerlens Noel chose to wear the blue and white. Since then, the program has seen some great talent come through its ranks, but Stokes' arrival would carry symbolic weight, the first big name to trust Pope's project. And for those familiar with the Lexington environment, it would reignite an enthusiasm that had been dormant since Calipari's departure. Meanwhile, the second most talked about name in the 2026 class also involves Kentucky, albeit in a more challenging context. Jordan Smith, the 5-star point guard ranked number 2 overall, received a crystal ball prediction for Duke with similar confidence level, 6 out of 10. Kentucky, however, hasn't dropped off the radar. Pope visited Smith twice, in September and April, and the player will take an official visit this weekend. The fact that the program remains active in a race shows that Pope is building a broad network with strategic vision, targeting not just a star, but a solid foundation for the future. While Duke is a favorite for Smith, the main focus right now is Stokes. Everything indicates that he could be the name that marks a new era in Lexington, the first of many players who see Mark Pope not only as a competent coach, but as a leader capable of recapturing the brilliance and tradition that have always made Kentucky basketball something more than just a sports program. If predictions prove true, Tyron Stokes could become the symbol of Kentucky's rebirth under Pope. On an afternoon that promised only trivialities, with microphones and cameras lined up in strategic rows in the Kentucky Gymnasium, Coach Mark Pope exceeded all expectations. Instead of offering the usual one-liners or generic assessments of the upcoming season, he opened a window into the beating heart of his team, a group of competitive souls, as he himself defined it. It was more than a simple technical description. It was an ode to the character, personality, and nuances that make up the 2025-26 Wildcats. The event, which began as a routine press conference, quickly transformed into something special. Pope, with his engaging style and storytelling ability, captured the attention of everyone in the room. He wasn't there just to talk about technical prowess or statistics. He was there to share something bigger, a vision that goes beyond what appears on the scoreboards or efficiency charts. For him, basketball is a reflection of who his players are off the court, and that was evident in every word that came out of his mouth. When asked about his transfers, Pope didn't hesitate to offer quick but impactful labels. Jalen Lowe, or Jalo, was described as quick as a cat, a leader, a competitor. Denzel Aberdeen, or Day, received the succinct title of winner competitor. These sentences were short, but powerful enough to convey exactly what kind of athletes they are. However, when it came to Mo Diabate, it became clear that a few words would never be enough. Mo is unique, Pope said, almost ecstatic, as he attempted to describe the player. His explanation was a collage of adjectives and anecdotes that painted a multifaceted portrait. He has different sides. He has the motivational side, the dog side, the humble and dedicated side. And he protects his teammates at all costs. Always. Never fails at that. It was impossible not to feel Pope's enthusiasm when talking about Diabate, as if he were dealing with something rare, almost impossible to find in modern sports. It wasn't just physical talent. It was soul. But Pope didn't stop there. Cam Williams also caught his attention, and he was full of praise when describing the player. He's a shooter. I repeat because it's true. But he's also someone who can grab 10 rebounds in just 16 minutes of play. Pope's admiration overflowed when he spoke of Williams's versatility. He has the ability to be an elite defensive player, he added, making it clear that Williams isn't just a specialist in a single area, but a complete player capable of changing the course of a game in multiple ways. Pope also showed his lighthearted side by sharing amusing behind-the-scenes moments. A story about Jalen Quaintance, or JQ, drew laughter from the press. The coach revealed that during a chess game at JQ's house, he was so thoroughly defeated that he had to invent a new rule. I flipped the board once. Even so, the best he could manage was a draw. This JQ is a story for days, Pope joked, demonstrating that the relationship between coach and player goes beyond basketball. It's built on moments like these of relaxation and camaraderie. These stories aren't mere details. They reveal the depth with which Pope knows his players. He's not just interested in building a winning team. He's committed to creating genuine bonds, understanding who these young men are as people. This is rare in the world of college sports, where external pressures often dictate the pace and how coaches interact with their athletes. Pope, however, seems to have found a perfect balance between competitiveness and humanity. Other names echoed throughout the room throughout the press conference. Malachi Moreno, Jasper Johnson, and Tret Noah were mentioned with pride by the players themselves, who were full of praise for their teammates. Each of these athletes seemingly brings something unique to the group, contributing to what Pope calls a special team. It's not just about individual talent, although there's plenty of that. It's about how these pieces fit together, how they support each other, and how each player elevates the other. If there's one thing that's clear after listening to Pope speak, it's that this team has a potential to be something memorable, not just because of their technical prowess or the legacy of Kentucky basketball, but because of the deep connection that exists between the players and the coach. It's a team shaped by competitive souls, united by bonds that transcend sport. The 2025-26 season promises to be exciting. With Mark Pope at the helm, leading with passion and authenticity, the Wildcats have everything it takes to be not just a force in college basketball, but a winning team. Few can reach the pinnacle of lifting the national championship trophy. Only 7 active Division I coaches can boast this feat on their resumes, a select group that includes names like Rick Pitino, John Calipari, and Bill Self, figures who have shaped the sport with their philosophies and achievements. However, the question echoing in the arenas and behind the scenes is, who will be the next to join this elite? And more specifically, is Mark Pope, the current head coach of Kentucky basketball, destined to be the next name on that list? CBS Sports, through journalists Gary Parrish and Matt Norlander, conducted a survey of 100 college coaches to try to answer this question. The results not only revealed the favorites, but also highlighted Mark Pope as a leading candidate to win his first national title. Although Houston's Kelvin Sampson was named the most likely to achieve this feat, followed by Purdue's Matt Painter, Pope appears as the fourth most popular choice among those surveyed. This position reflects not only the prestige of the Kentucky program, but also the consistent and promising work Pope has done since taking the helm. One coach's anonymous comment about Pope is particularly striking. Since UK can do things no other school can financially, he'd have to be a complete idiot not to win one soon. While the statement may sound provocative or even unfair, it carries a grain of truth. Kentucky, as an institution, possesses resources virtually unmatched in the college scene, from state-of-the-art facilities to a recruiting structure that attracts the best talent in the country. However, transforming these resources into titles requires more than luck or money. It requires leadership, strategic vision, and the ability to keep teams together under pressure. And so far, Pope has demonstrated these qualities. Last season, Pope demonstrated his resilience by leading Kentucky to the round of 16 of the tournament, despite adversity with multiple injuries to key players. This ability to get the most out of a depleted squad is a clear sign that he knows how to handle challenges. Expectations are even higher for the season. Pope's roster appears to be one of the most complete and talented in recent years, combining seasoned veterans with promising youngsters ready to shine on the big stage. This blend of experience and youth could be the difference Kentucky needs to achieve its long-awaited national glory. It's important to remember that the college tournament, known as March Madness, is famous for its unpredictability. Giants fall to underdogs, and improbable stories are written with each edition. However, when it comes to Kentucky, one thing is certain: the program will always be among the favorites. This is due not only to the aforementioned resources, but also to the winning DNA that permeates the team's culture. From the days of Adolph Rupp to the John Calipari era, Kentucky has always been synonymous with excellence in college basketball. And with Pope, that tradition remains alive and well. Whether Pope will truly be the next coach to win his first national title remains to be seen. The road to success is long and fraught with obstacles, and college basketball is a sport that doesn't forgive mistakes. However, there's something about the way Pope leads a program that inspires confidence. He not only understands the magnitude of the responsibility of leading a giant like Kentucky, but he also seems to embrace the challenge with enthusiasm and dedication. His leadership style, focused on developing players both on and off the court, has created an environment conducive to success. While debates continue and predictions swirl, one thing is certain: Mark Pope has all the tools necessary to guide Kentucky back to the top. With a talented roster, a passionate fan base, and a winning mentality, he's positioned to write the next chapter in the program's rich history. Will we see it happen? Comment